Okay, welcome everybody. I had a feeling to share a practice this evening which will help me. Having done a lot of gardening these last few days, so I thought we'd do this on the lower back, because whether you've been gardening or anything like that or not, most likely, all of us at some point regularly some kind of lower back issues going on. Partly because the fascia, this connective tissue that moves through all the structures in the body, bones, muscles, all the tissues, organs, is really thick in the lower back, so it can get quite stuck. Another reason is that a lot of us have weak lower backs, and we're not connecting our lower back muscles to our deep core muscles, so the lower back's often overworking, so we often get injured or have chronic pain. So whether or not you are one of those people with chronic lower back pain or prone to injury in this area or tightness, this practice will be good for you, either as an antidote to that or preventative. Okay, so we will start seated. So just get yourself comfortable, and we're just going to kind of put our awareness in our lower back. So just start to settle as we do, just feeling the base of the body connecting to the floor. So this is always our just grounding. We spend the first few moments just grounding by feeling our connection with the floor. And I mean that literally, just literally dropping your awareness into where your body is meeting the floor. And just simply by doing that, simply by putting our awareness in kind of interface between our body and the floor, this is inherently grounding. This is bringing us into awareness of how we meet the earth, how we connect to the earth. So just feel those points of contact, those points of connection. And the other good thing about doing this is our awareness is already in the kind of region we want it to rest in for a lot of things. So our kind of lower back, but not just the lower back, kind of the lower front of the body as well. So as you kind of sit here and allow the base of your body to drop into the support of the floor, so just inviting a release of the inner hips and groins, relaxing the legs as much as is possible for you here. Just bring your awareness to your lower back and the lowest part of your spine. And it's very interesting, the lowest part of the spine, the last few vertebrae fuse together to form this bony plate, the sacrum. So you can just kind of sense, feel, even palpate if you're not sure where this is in your body. So just really. And then the coccyx, tailbone, which is our final remains vestige of a tail, the kind of ape-like beings that we evolved from. So just below the sacrum, we've got these final few vertebrae, just gently tucking under, kind of almost tucking into the pelvic bowl. So when we focus on the coccyx, which is kind of running down the upper cleft of the buttocks, really, I suppose, that's bringing our awareness into the pelvic bowl. It's kind of almost joining the back of the body to the front of the body, because the coccyx just tucks under slightly. So bring your awareness to the front of your body now, but in the lower part of the torso, so below the navel, and just gently have a sense of that lower part of the belly, below the navel, just gently drawing back towards the spine. When we do this, we allow the front body to support the lower back. So if we can always remember to kind of find this engagement when we lift heavy objects or move, transition, we're going to help avoid lower back injuries. And then the final part is the pelvic floor. So it's like we've got the back, the front, and now we want the base to be also contributing. So just imagine where your pelvic floor is. And the pelvic floor joins the coccyx to the pubic bone. So it's like this kind of sling muscle, umbrella muscle that links the front and the back of the body. We want to feel that lifting up at its center. Gently. We feel this kind of cylinder of control, or front, back, base, all connected. This is what we want. This is how we move intelligently. These areas connected and have some kind of sense of connection. And just check as you've connected with these parts, hopefully you're still kind of feeling that contraction of the lower belly and the lifting of the pelvic floor, gentle, subtle. As you do that, still try to keep the relaxation in the buttocks and the hips and the groins and the thighs as best you can. You know, there may be tension, this is fine, but inviting a release of what's able to release, whilst keeping these deep muscles switched on. Okay, and then we're going to start to move. So if possible, keep an awareness here. Don't worry if you lose it, I'll bring our awareness back periodically through the class. But we're going to cat-cow. So as immediately as we inhale into a cow shape, we're doing it seated. You'll probably lose a lot of that inner contact. That's fine and normal. And exhale into the cat, drawing the lower belly in, pushing the spine back. So don't worry, just keep that going with the breath. Inhaling to bring the chest forward and looking up. Exhale to send the upper back backwards, chin to the chest. So don't worry if you've lost that sense of keeping the muscles switched on, but keep the awareness in the lower belly and in the pelvic, the base of the pelvic. We can notice as we move back and forward with the breath, we're moving to the back rim of the pelvis in the cat, to the front rim of the pelvis into the cow. And what we want to try and feel is that we're initiating each movement with this rocking pelvis, and the spine follows and the crown of the head follows. So this is kind of connection between the base of the pelvis and the crown of the head. And the spine just undulates between the two connected points, like kind of seaweed moving fluidly underwater, that kind of feeling of undulation. But what we're doing here, we're obviously starting to mobilize the spine, but we're really working with opening, loosening the fascia in the lower back. When we rock the pelvis, when we start to move the pelvis, it's starting to unstick, warm up, open up the lower back. Okay. And then the next time you come out of your exhale, just come back to neutral. You may feel a kind of warmth feeling starting in the lower back. Now we're going to do the same, but at the two, so we've kind of gone from front edge to back edge of the pelvis. We're now going to go from left side to right side. So we have the two sit bones at the base of the pelvis. We want to try and feel the left sit bone and then the right. So it's going to be a circle that's going to be initiated with the pelvis. And if you can, keep the cat-cow spine going, but don't worry if it's too much and you lose that. Just focus on rolling around the base of your pelvis. And again, that the spine follows that. The crown of the head coming last, like this kind of seaweedy feeling. So I'm exhaling into the cat on the back rim, and then I'm moving to my left sit bone, feeling that sit bone, then I'm coming into the cow on the front rim of my pelvis, moving to the right sit bone, kind of pushing the rib cage out to the side as I go. Doesn't matter which way you're going, which direction, because we're going to swap it, and the head is following like the final embellishment, and then change direction. So these circles can be quite slow because we're really being mindful. We're really keeping our awareness in the base of the pelvis. And again, this is really helping unstick the fascia of the lower back. So don't forget cat-cow spine, and also rib cage pushing out to the side that we're moving to the sit bone on. Just feel yourself as seaweed here. Feel the spine as seaweed. And then at the end of your next kind of journey around the base of the pelvis, just coming back to the center and just taking a breath. Okay. So from here, we're going to inhale, stretch the hands up, interlace the fingers, press the palms up, drop the shoulders away from the ears, and drop the tailbone like an anchor. As you do that, maybe you can feel that core, those deep lower belly muscles drawing back to the spine. And then exhale, take the left hand down, reach over to the right, breathe into the right side of your torso here. And make sure the right sit bone, the right side of the base of the pelvis, is connecting to the floor as well as the left. Press through the left hand if your right buttock's lifting, to push it back down. So a lot of awareness in the base of our pelvis at the moment. And then on your next inhale, raising the hands again, interlace the fingers. Try to put the other little finger on the outside if you can. Stretch up, shoulders, tailbone. Reaching up, getting long through the side body. And then exhale, take the right hand down, reach the left hand over. And again, maybe pressing through the right hand to keep the left sit bone down. Breathing into the left rib cage. And then inhale to come up, taking another breath, just neutral here. And then we're going to come forward. So start to walk the hands forward. So we're really getting into the lower back now. We drop the head when we get to our deepest fold. And again, make sure the back rim of the pelvis is glued to the floor. So keep that awareness in the base of the pelvis. If the buttocks are lifting, come back a little bit, press through the hands, glue the back rim of the pelvis down. Breathe into the lower back or any parts of the butt that you're feeling this, but especially a sense of breathing space into the lower back as we open that area. And then slowly walking the hands back in. So we're kind of moving the spine in all the different ways it likes to move to help unstick the lower back. So now we're going to go the other way. Bring the hands behind you, fingertips point forwards. Press through the hands, lift the spine, lift the chest. So arch the spine, lift the chest, I should say. Keep the buttocks on the floor. Maybe slightly looking up or keep the chin in. Just to move the spine in all the different ways. Then inhale, come back to the center. And exhale. And again, we're going to inhale, raise the hands above the head. This time just palms touch. Exhale, come into a twist. So right hand to left knee, left hand behind you. Looking towards your left shoulder. Maybe you might even pick up that left hand and reach for your right thigh if that feels good. But it's not necessary. Keep it on the floor as a prop. So we're just wringing the spine out now, we're twisting. So we've gone sideways, forwards, backwards, twisting, and we're going to do one more different move after this. Exhale, come back to the center. Inhale, raise the hands, palms touch at the top of the inhale. Exhale, left hand to right knee, right hand behind, look over your right shoulder. Maybe we pick up that right hand and reach for the left thigh. Optional. Keep the spine vertical here, keep the shoulders relaxed. So this is how we keep the spine healthy and the back healthy, is just move the spine in all the different ways, always listening to the body, of course. And then the end of the exhale, unwinding. So now we're going to do our kind of final way we can move the spine. So it's two things blended together, or three actually. We're going to first twist. So turn to face your left knee and feel that as a twist, a gentle twist. So your navel is kind of facing your left knee. And then we take a forward fold, which is also, because we're twisted, a little bit of a lateral stretch. So there's all kinds of things going on here. We walk the hands as far forward, and then we drop the head. And again, put your awareness in your base of your pelvis. Try to keep your right buttock on the floor. So for me, I get really interesting and lovely juicy openings in the right side of my lower back here. This big muscle, the quadratus lumbar, gets very stuck. And this kind of blended stretch for the spine can be great for unsticking, but we just have to be really mindful about how we go in and come out. And if it feels inappropriate, obviously stick it. One more deep breath, breathing into the parts of the back that you feel are being opened here. And then at the end of the exhale, come out the way you went in. So walk your hands back to the knee, come all the way back to upright. So you're still facing that left knee, and then untwist. So we kind of go in and out in two stages, just so we don't hurt the spine. Same on the other side, twist first, twist, face that right knee. And then we come into our kind of hybrid of a forward fold and a side stretch. So forward fold, because we're coming forward, so the chin is kind of in front or towards, in line with the right knee. And you may also feel a slight lateral stretch down the left side. So you know the spine is both twisted and forward folded and slightly banana-ing to the side. So it's kind of doing, I wouldn't know what to call it, but it's definitely doing something. And feel how this affects the fascia, the muscles in the lower back, probably in the side body as well, the sideways, wherever you're feeling it. Breathe space into those areas. Relax the head and the jaw. And then again, come out the way you went in. So just be mindful and slow. Walk the hands all the way back in, keeping facing that right knee until you're already all the way up, and then just gently untwisting. And then we're just going to swap the legs over and do the forward one more time with the other leg in front. So just to complete this little sequence, walk the hands forward again with the other shin in front or ankle in front. Drop the head, glue the back rim of the pelvis down, breathe into the lower back. Breathe space and nourishment into your lower back here. So we can stretch externally, we can put ourselves in all these different shapes and stretch, but then we can also go a whole step further and stretch from the inside by breathing deeply and opening from the inside with our inhales. Moving and stretching and opening the fascia with our breath. And at the end of your next exhale, walking the hands in. We're going to come onto our hands and knees, so just find your way there. And we'll meet there. So again, just because it's so good for the lower back, we're going to cat-cow on our hands and knees. And again, initiate the movement with the pelvis, like we did seated. See if you can feel that here as well. So inhaling into the cow, exhale, we rock the pelvis the other way, and that sends that seaweed-like undulation up the spine, finishing with the crown of the head. And then the tailbone lifts, the spine follows, the crown of the head follows, and actually the eyes follow that. Exhale, it again starts at the base of the spine, this wave of motion. So I'm really finding the seaweed analogy quite helpful at the moment, this sense of the coccyx, the base of the spine, and the crown of the head being directly connected by this kind of the spine, obviously, but also just this energetic thread. One moves and the other one follows, linked by the spine. And just keep going a few more rounds, or if you want to put on that kind of more circular action again, where we move the hips slightly in circles, but more than that, we're kind of moving the torso in circles, sending the left rib cages out to the left, right rib cage out to the right, as we continue to cat-cow the spine. The head's getting involved, following, don't overthink it, just kind of be intuitive, and then change direction. This is a really good way to feel like seaweed. I don't know why I'm really in the seaweed vibe this evening, but it's kind of working for me. Has been a week actually. And then come back to the center. Just take a breath with a neutral spine here, just breathing that through. Can be quite profound fascia release if we really allow ourselves to follow the body's wisdom. And then we're going to drop into child's pose. We're going to revisit child's pose a few times. For this first one at least, just keep the knees together, classic balasana, and bring the hands back to the feet. So this is just kind of traditional child's pose. We get knees together, palms up, hands by the feet, forehead on the floor or on a block, and the shoulders just dropping, just kind of relaxing and releasing, and the shoulder blades kind of spreading. So it's very spacious feeling in the back. Breathe into the lower back, wherever you're feeling it, maybe in the inner groins, but especially focusing on the lower back. Maybe noticing if one side feels tighter than the other, more resistant. Does one hip feel a little bit higher than the other? Or just noticing asymmetries and putting all your awareness in the areas that feel most resistant as you breathe fully. And then we're just going to start to flow a little bit, taking it very gently to begin with. So when you're ready, we're just going to do very simple vinyasa. We're going to inhale, come straight into the cow as you inhale. Exhale, come into the cat. And at the end of the exhale, push back to to child's pose, keeping the hands where. Take an extra breath in child's pose, inhaling. And exhaling. And then inhale, come straight back into the cow. Exhale into the cat. The end of the exhale, keep the cat spine as you stretch back to child's pose. Inhale, child's pose. Exhale. We're going to do that one more time, coming up and inhaling into the cow. Exhaling into the cat. Keep the cat spine, stretch the spine as you come all the way back to child's pose. Keep the hands where they are. Inhale. And exhale. And then again, just inhale. Just come to neutral this time. Exhale, we're going to tuck the toes under and come to downward dog. So just arriving in our first downward dog, you might want to walk out the feet. And also because of our theme, something I love to do in downward dog is pivot. As I walk, as I lift, so I'm lifting my left heel and I'm swinging the hips to the left and pivoting on the feet. And then I'm lifting my right heel, turning the feet, pivoting, sending my hips to the right. And you can also do it the other way around. So experiment with that, with taking your hips to the same side that the heel is lifted. But then you can kind of do the opposite. You can lift one heel and then take the hips to the side that the heel's down. So you pivot on the feet and you take the hips over to the left. And then you lift the left heel, pivot the feet and take the hips over to the right. So just exploring, moving the fascia, and then just come to normal downward dog. Okay, just spread the fingertips, spread the toes, and breathe. So even in the kind of static postures, we're not static because we're breathing fully. So we're using the breath to open the tight areas, to spread and open the lower back. You might want to bend the knees a little bit more today, so really open that lower back to really feel the sense of traction in your spine. And then drop the heels. Okay, so again, we're going to just flow a little bit, but taking it, we're kind of building it up slowly. So we're going to inhale, bring the knees down. Exhale, come to Ashtangasana, chin and the chest down in front of the hands. Slide the feet out behind you and inhale up to the cobra. Exhale, coming back down, tuck the toes under. Inhale up to tabletop. Exhale, back to downward dog. We're just kind of cycling through. Take a breath in downward dog. And again on your next inhale, come high on the toes and just lower the knees. Exhale, lower the chin and the chest, keeping the elbows in, hips stay high. Inhale, we take a back bend. You might stay in cobra or come up higher to upward dog, and exhale, come back to downward dog. One more time. Inhale, knees down. Exhale, lower the chin and the chest, elbows in. Inhale, back bend. Exhale, downward dog. Breathe into the lower back. And then just one more time, bring the knees down. This time we're just going to bring the tops of the feet down, keep the hips above the knees and walk the hands forward for Ashtangasana. So dropping the chin or the forehead to the floor or a block. And just feeling this as a gravity assisted opening for the lower back. That the lower back gets some spaciousness here. Obviously it's a massive opener on the chest and the armpits. That's what we usually focus on. But focus on kind of the feelings you have in your side body and your lower back here as we breathe fully. And at the end of your next exhale, press through the hands, lift the head, walk the hands back. We're returning to downward dog. So hands just in front of the shoulders, tucking the toes, lifting the hips. We're going to find our downward dog, but then we're going to walk the feet mat distance apart. And we probably want to keep our feet on the mat so the mat doesn't skid anywhere, but have as little of your feet on the mat as possible. So I've taken my feet so wide that my big toes are on the mat just to make sure it kind of stays down. Yeah, if we take our feet all the way off, the mat might shoot forward. So we're in a kind of wide leg downward dog. Just feel that in the lower back. There's kind of a different sensation perhaps around the sacrum. Just breathe into that. And then from here, we're going to walk the hands to the feet. So take a journey back towards the feet, which stay wide with the hands until we end up in a kind of wider leg forward fold. We're not as wide as we normally would be in the wide leg forward fold, but we're wider than hip distance apart. And pause here, maybe just let the arms dangle, maybe hold the opposite elbow. But what tends to happen when the feet go wider is that, this happens to me anyway, is that I put my weight more in my heels. So just check that you're not hanging back in your heels, check that the kind of hips are over the ankles and that we're evenly pressing through the feet. So one more breath. And then from here, seeing as the feet are that distance apart already, just bring the hands down. Probably most of us have to turn the toes out a little bit. And we're going to come down into a deep squat here. And maybe the hands can stay on the floor, maybe the hands come to the center of the chest. We lift up through the spine. This posture is amazing for opening the lower back as well as the inner hips and thighs and groins. But again, our focus is the lower back. Breathe into the lower back, couple more breaths. Okay, and then bringing the hands down, kind of leaning forward into the hands a little bit, pushing with the hands and the feet as we lift the hips up. This time we're walking the feet to hip distance apart, taking another forward fold. You could hold the opposite elbow again, or you might wish for a different variation, maybe Padangusthasana, holding the first two fingers and holding the big toe with the first two fingers and thumb, dropping the head. Again, check you're not hanging back in your heels here, bend the knees as much as you need. Maybe especially today, again, exploring what it's like to bend the knees, to really feel that opening in the lower back. And then from there, maybe straightening the backs of the knees a little bit. So we start from the bent leg position so the lower back's really open. Okay, and then bring the hands to the hips, bend the knees, push through the legs to come up with a flat back. So we're up to standing. We're probably standing towards the back of the mat. So just walk towards the front of the mat. And we're just going to flow again. Building it up gradually. So sun salutations. And we're going to do the version where we put the crescent moon lunge in. Okay, so standing as mountain pose at the front of the mat, feel your feet, drop that tailbone, feel that connection between lower back, front body, pelvic floor. So it's like two sides and a base. We want to feel connected here. Inhale, raise the hand. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, look up, lengthen the spine. Exhale, step your left leg back and lower the knee to the floor. You can keep the toe tucked under if you wish. Inhale, raise the hands. Exhale, release the hands back down, tuck the back toe under. Inhale, right foot joins left for plank. Exhale, we lower. You could do knees down Ashtangasana or knees off the floor. Inhale, find a back bend. Exhale, downward dog. Just take a breath between sides, a couple of breaths. Couple more breaths actually. Downward dog's great for the lower back, bending the knees more if you need this evening. And then at the end of your next exhale, look forward, step the left foot between the hands and lower the right knee down. You exhale, inhale, raise the hands. Exhale, release the hands down, tuck the back toe under. Inhale, right foot joins left, look up. Exhale, drop the head. Inhale, press through the feet, raise the hands above the head. Palms touch, look up. Exhale, mountain pose. Inhale, hands up. Exhale, forward fold. Drop the head. Inhale, look up and lengthen. Exhale, right foot comes back now. Lower the knee down, sink the hips. Inhale, crescent moon lunge. Exhale, release the hands down. Tuck the back toe under. Inhale, left foot joins right for plank. Exhale, lower down, knees on or off the floor. Inhale, find a back bend, open the chest. Exhale, downward dog. Taking 4 or 5 slow deep breaths here, maybe that deep bend on the knees this evening, to feel the opening in the lower back and then straighten the legs or move towards straight. Breathe into the lower back. Feel that front body support of the lower back. Draw the lower belly back to the spine. Feel the base of the container, the pelvic floor, also contributing here to the stability. So it's not all on the lower back. And then the end of your exhale, look forward. Step the right foot between the feet and lower the knee. Inhale, raise the hands, look up. Exhale, release the hands down, tuck the back toe under. Inhale, left foot steps forward to join right and we look up. Exhale, we drop the head. Inhale, press through the feet, raise the hands, look up. Exhale, hands back to the sides. That's one round. We're going to do 2 more, so we have to do both sides this one round, okay? Inhale, hands up, look up. Exhale, fold, drop the head. Inhale, look up and lengthen. Exhale, left foot back, knee drop, sink the hips. Inhale, crescent moon lunge, lift the hands, look up. Exhale, hands come down, tuck the back toe under, lift the knee. Inhale, right foot joins left for plank. Exhale, lower knees on or off the floor. Inhale, back bend, looking up. Exhale, downward dog. Here we have a opportunity again to feel that container of support, front, back, base. Breathe into the lower back. And at the end of the exhale, left foot steps forward, right knee drops. Inhale, we raise the hands, look up. Exhale, hands come down, tuck the back toe under. Inhale, right foot joins left at the front of the mat, look up. Exhale, drop the head, fold. Inhale, press through the feet, raise the hands, look up and stretch. Exhale, hands to the side, straight into the other side. Inhale, hands up, look up. Exhale, forward fold, drop the head. Inhale, look up and lengthen. Exhale, right foot back, knee drop, sink the hips. Inhale, look up, crescent moon. Exhale, release the hands down, tuck the back toe under, lift the knee. Inhale, left foot joins right for plank. Exhale, lower. Inhale, back bend. Exhale, downward dog. And breathe. If it's too much on your wrists, I know we're doing a lot of downward dog. This is intentional. Downward dog is a gravity-assisted spinal traction posture, so it's super good for the lower back. But if it gets too much, bring the knees down, take child's pose. But otherwise, we're using it as an opportunity to, again, explore how the front body supports the back body. So draw the lower belly back to the spine, lift the pelvic floor slightly, and breathe as fully as you can. And at the end of the exhale, look forward, right foot comes forward, left knee lowers, sink the hips. Inhale, raise the hands, crescent moon lunge. Exhale, hands down, tuck the back toe under. Inhale, left foot joins right, look up. Exhale, drop the head. Press through the feet. Inhale, raise the hands, look up, and exhale, hands to the side. Okay, just take a breath. We've got 1 more round, and I'm just going to add a little variation. We'll add some twists. The spine likes the twist. Okay, last time, we've got this. Inhale, hands up, look up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, look up, lengthen. Exhale, left foot comes back, lower the knees, sink the hips. Inhale, raise the hands into crescent moon lunge. Exhale, come into a twist, so you can bring left hand or left elbow to the outside of the right knee. We're just going to pause for an extra breath here. And then on your next inhale, raising the hands back up to crescent moon. Exhale, lowering the hands, tucking the back toe under to lift the knee. Right foot joins left. Exhale, lower down for the plank. Inhale, back bend. Exhale, downward dog. Well done. We'll just take a couple of breaths in this last round in the downward dog, so make them count. And at the end of your next exhale, look forward, left foot comes between the hands, lower the right knee. Inhale, raise the hands. Exhale, twist, so either right hand or right elbow to the outside of the left knee. Taking that extra breath. And then inhale, raise the hands, crescent moon. Exhale, release the hands down, tuck the back toe under. Inhale, right foot joins left, look up. Exhale, forward fold. Press through the feet. Inhale, raise the hand, look up. Exhale, hands to the side. Last time. Inhale up. Exhale, forward fold, drop the head. Inhale, look up and lengthen. Exhale, right foot back, lower the knee down. Inhale, raise the hand. Exhale, twist. So twisting to the left again, right elbow or hand. Take that extra breath. Looking over the left shoulder. On your next inhale, raise the hands, look up. Exhale, release the hands down, tuck the back toe under. Inhale, left foot joins right foot plank. Exhale, lower. Inhale, back bend. Exhale, downward dog. Again, just a couple of breaths, 2 or 3, nice slow, deep breaths. Fill the lower back, but keep the front body connection and the pelvic floor connection. And then at the end of your next exhale, look forward and right foot comes forward, left knee lowers. The inhale raises the hands, crescent moon lunge. Exhale, that twist for the last time, elbow or left elbow or hands to the outside of right knee. Taking a breath. Inhaling, raising the hands back up. Exhaling the hands down, tuck the back toe under. Inhale, left foot joins right, look up. Exhale, release the head. Inhale, coming all the way up, hands touch, look up. Exhale, mountain pose. Well done, that was pretty epic. And notice how the lower back gets worked a lot, that we're either back, we're forward folding, we're back bending, we're twisting. The crescent moon lunge is also back bend here. So a lot of opening, focus on that lower back. So just take a moment here. Okay, and then when you're ready, we're going to step wide and then come to the long edge of the mat. And face the long edge of the mat with the feet parallel, so the toes pointing forward. And we're going to bring the hands to the hips. If you know you've got tight hamstrings, have a block, because we're going to do a few variations, including a twist. Okay, so you might want to bring the floor closer. Inhale, roll the shoulders back, lift the chest and look up. Exhale, forward fold. So when you get to your deepest fold, release the hands. We're just going to spend a few breaths just in the classic posture here. With the neck long, the top of the head dropping. Feel the legs strong, feel the weight evenly distributed on the feet. And then from here, we're going to press the hands and walk, so straighten the arms and walk the hands forward. So the hands are kind of underneath the shoulders. And we're going to take the right hand below the face and inhale, raise the left hand. So don't worry about what the hips do. Sometimes we're really disciplined on the hips when we want to really stretch into the upper back. But today we're focusing on the lower back. So the right hip can drop, no problem. Breathe into the twist. Exhale, release the left hand down. Maybe using a block because we want to press the floor away with the hands. So squat the hands, left hand below the face. Inhale to raise the right hand. Again, just allow the left hip to drop if it wishes to here. Feel this twist all the way down into the lower back. So we're not just trying to isolate the thoracic spine like we do sometimes. Breathe into the kidneys. Exhale, release the right hand. And then just walk both hands as far forward as they go and drop the head. So it's like we're in a really wide-legged downward dog. But actually it's a bit different because the hips are above the ankle. In downward dog, the hips would be in front of the ankle. So we're making a triangle. But here we're in that forward fold shape with the legs, but we're in like a downward dog with the upper body. So I love this posture for when I've been gardening. I just often come and do this. I do this wide leg. It's like a wonderful traction for the spine. And then from here, keep your right hand where it is, and we're going to pick up the left hand and reach to the outside of the right leg. So it's going to maybe be above the knee, maybe below the knee. If you're quite open, it might be the ankle. And then there's a twist here. So we're pushing through the right hand, we're pulling on the outside of the right leg with the left hand, and we're looking up underneath our right armpit. Again, don't worry what happens with the hips here. Quite a strong stretch potentially. If it's too much, just skip this. And then slowly come out. We're going to swap sides. So come back to that kind of downward dog shape in the upper back, sending the hips back as we reach the fingertips forward. And then keep the left hand where it is, kind of outstretched. Pick up the right hand and reach for the outside of the left leg, again above or below the knee, maybe the ankle. Pull on the left leg with the right hand as you push the floor away with your left hand and look up underneath your left armpit. Breathe as deeply as you can. There's probably all kinds of interesting stretches going on. It could be quite intense. Don't go beyond your limit. Breathe deep. And then slowly unwind. Come back to that kind of downward dog shape with the upper body. And then walk the hands in, back to our starting position. Just take a couple of breaths in standard prasarita. Now I know we've been down here a long time, so be mindful as you come up. Bring your hands to your hips, slowly come up. I'm feeling a little bit lightheaded, so you might be too. Just give yourself a moment. Maybe just gently step the feet together. Let the blood flow the other way. If you haven't eaten much today, which I haven't, spending all that time upside down could be quite dizzy making. So just take a moment. Usually if we just come out and are still for a moment, eventually the blood kind of flows the right way again and we feel back to normal. I'm speaking to myself, I'm just about there. Okay, great. So let's do a balance, focusing on the lower back, and then we'll spend quite a lot of time on the floor. The floor work is really good for the lower back. Okay, so we're going to do a simple balance that's got a transition that's good for the lower back. So first of all, I'll just very quickly demonstrate. We're just going to draw the heel to the buttock, and it's not a full back bend. If you really wanted to go for a deeper back bend, you could start to come into this version of the dancer's pose where we've got both hands on the foot. But even just bringing the heel to the buttock is a compression around the sacrum. But then we're going to transition and take the sacrum, take the tailbone the other way. So we're actually coming into this opening of the lower back by bringing the knee to the chest, okay? And then we'll swap sides. So it's deceptively simple. Seems like not much going on, but lots going on. Okay, so balancing on the left leg first. Feel the stability of your left leg, feel the stability of the hip. Pick up the right foot, the top of the foot with both hands if you can. And just, even if you're going to go further, just really squeeze the heel into the buttock or towards the buttock and try to let the right knee drop in line with the left knee. Okay, so that you could stay here. This is actually a little back bend, a little compression. If you feel like you want more of a back bend, keep hold of the top of the foot with both hands and just push the foot into the hands for a moment. This is actually a strong stretch on the upper chest. So it's not normal dancer's pose. It just said my internet connection was unstable, so apologies if I went out then. So we just went into this modified dancer pose, then we come back, heel to buttock, and then we try and transition to bring the knee in front, hug the back of the knee on the front of the shin, and push down through the standing leg, through the heel of the standing leg, to feel the spine lift, the crown of the head lift as we draw this knee in. And we're really opening the right side of the lower back here and stabilizing the left side of the pelvic floor and lower back. And then exhale, release. And just take a moment. You might need to kind of move the hips a little bit between sides. So same on the other side. Feel your right leg strong. Feel the hip stable. Pick up the left foot, top of the foot with one hand first, and then see if you can get the top of the foot with both hands and really try to draw the heel into the buttock and push. For most of us, it's pushing the left knee back so that it's in line with the right knee, not poking forward. This is a big opener on the front of the body, and you should feel it as a little compression in the lower back. If we want to go further, if we've got hold of the foot with both hands, push the foot into the hands, maybe tipping the weight forward ever so slightly, but not too much. Feel the opening on the front of the chest. Breathe into the lower back. It's that back bend in the lower back too. And then come back to the starting position, heel to buttock. And then we all transition to bringing the knees forward, if possible, without putting the foot down. If it comes down, don't worry, just pick it up. Once we're in the position, we're holding the front of the shin or the back of the knee. We focus on pushing down through the heel of the standing leg, lifting up through the crown, rolling the shoulders back, opening the chest, breathing into the lower back. So you'll feel it as work on the right side of the lower back and a big stretch on the left side. And then exhale, release. Beautiful, walking out of your knee. And then just before we come down to the floor, we'll just take a standing twist. So just have your hip bones facing forward, your feet about shoulder width apart. We want to try and keep the hip bones facing forward. Okay, we're going to just twist in the upper body. So take your hands out in front of you. Inhale, and as you exhale, start to take the hands to the left. At some point, bend the right elbow so the right fingertips will touch the inner left shoulder or armpit. And make sure the hips haven't followed. So sometimes we tend to follow the lower body. We want to keep the hips forward. Look towards your left hand. Just take a couple of breaths when you're at your deepest stretch. Again, deceptively simple. Sometimes these really simple postures are the best for back care. Inhale, come back to the center. Exhale again. Lower body stays stable. We start to take the arms and the hands to the right. We follow the right hand with the gaze. We bend the left elbow so the left hand will touch the right inner shoulder. And we just check that the hips are facing forward. Quite useful Zoom. I don't know whether you guys can see yourself on the screen. I can, so it's like you've got a little check-in mirror. And then inhale, come back. Exhale, release the hands down. Great. Okay, we're going to come onto our belly. We're going to do a little bit of back strengthening work. So you can join me on your belly, or we can do one more little flow if you haven't had enough. Standing at the front of the mat. Okay, we're going to inhale, raise the hands, look up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, look up, lengthen. Exhale, just come back to downward dog. Take that final opportunity. Well, I say final, it might not be final, but another opportunity in downward dog to breathe into the lower back. And then come forward to plank or tabletop, inhaling here, and exhale, we're coming all the way down to our belly. And just take a moment when you arrive on your belly to arrive. Maybe just take the forehead onto the backs of the hands. Just rest for a moment. Okay, so we'll just do a little bit of back strengthening work. And again, sometimes less is more. It's one of my go-to back care postures or movements. So we bring the left hand under the left shoulder and the right hand out in line with the right shoulder extended with the palm down. Anchor point is our pubic bone, so press the pubic bone down, and then when you're ready, we're going to inhale and we'll lift the extended right hand to the opposite leg. So left leg, right arm lift. Left toes reach back, right fingertips reach forward. We breathe as deeply as we can, feeling this kind of diagonal line through the body from left toes to right fingertips. One more breath. Exhale, release. Take a moment between sides, maybe turning a cheek. Breathe into the lower back. And then when you're ready, your right hand's underneath your right shoulder. We extend the left arm forward, forehead on the floor. Anchor the pubic bone down first. This helps elongate the tailbone and connect to our deep core. And then inhale, lift up the extended left arm and right leg. Point the right toes back, point the left fingers forward. Feel the stretch between the two. We're also aware of what's on the floor. We're kind of gently pressing through right hand, top of the left foot and pubic bone. Contact with the floor. Breathe as deeply as you can. And exhale, release. Maybe take the other cheek to the floor or forehead on the back of the hands. Move the hips if you need, gently wobbling them side to side. Okay, so just a couple more variations. I know this is hard work, but this is the important preventative part of back care that we keep doing. These supine back work postures are brilliant for strengthening the lower back and preventing injury. So just classic locus first of all, pressing the pubic bone down, Hands on the floor, palms up. On an inhale, lift everything up now. So we've got head, chest, arms, hands, feet, legs, everything off the floor. Our pubic bone and lower belly, lower ribs that are our anchor now. Breathe as deeply as you can. Try to expose the soles of the feet to the ceiling rather than letting them collapse towards each other. Try to keep the big toes touching or close. Exhale, lower. Turn a cheek to the floor. Just let everything relax here. Make sure the shoulders are flopping, the shoulder blades spreading, the upper back relaxed. Maybe you need to move the hips a bit to unstick the lower back. Remembering we're really working with the lower back today. Bringing our awareness back there. Okay, so we'll do one more. You can repeat what we just did. Or this for me gets more into the lower back, this position. We've got the forehead on the floor, big toes touching at least to come up. And then we bring the hands back, palms down, somewhere as close to your waistline as possible. It's probably going to be slightly in front of the waistline, but as you look at my arms, they're more or less in a right angle, elbows kind of above the wrist. Press the pubic bone down, inhale, lift everything up, except the hands stay on the floor now. Notice how you feel this in the back. I feel it differently. I feel it more like lower back muscles working. Breathe as deeply as you can. Keep the shoulders moving back, the elbows pointing backwards, exposing the soles of the feet to the ceiling. Couple more breaths if you can. Remember, it doesn't matter how high you get. And exhale, release. Turn the other cheek to the floor or forehead on the back of the hands. Wobble the hips. Maybe that windscreen wipering the legs. Side to side can feel good here. And then release the hands. Just bring the forehead onto the back of the hands. And just before we take a counter pose, we're going to revisit child's pose momentarily. But before we do that, just exploring the lower back in a different way. So from here, just slide your left knee up towards your left elbow. So your inner left ankle is kind of on the floor and your inner thigh is kind of towards the floor. You could turn your head and face the left or keep the forehead on the back of the hands looking down. So if you're very tight in your inner groin, inner thigh, this might be quite intense. It might not be for you. We want it to feel like a releasing posture. It's like we're gently stretching the left side of the pelvic floor, the left side of the lower back, and the hips here. So ideally it wants to feel quite soothing and relaxing. If for you, like your left hip, your left buttock has to come high and it's really intense, then just skip this and just have those feet straight out behind you, because this is our releasing phase. Couple more breaths. For me, it's very releasing, lower back. But we are all different and we have to honor our own bodies here. So as always, everything's an invitation. And then slide that left leg back down. So you're either going to stay here if you know this isn't for you, otherwise other side, right knee, it's just like a slides up along the floor towards the right elbow. You might want to change the gaze to look towards the right here, or just keep looking down. Breathing into the pelvic floor, so it's like we're stretching the right side of the pelvic floor. We're stretching the right side of the lower back, and of course we're stretching around the inner hip and thigh and groin. Slow, deep releasing breath. And then just at the end of your next breath, just sliding that right leg back down to meet the left. Take your centrally aligned. We're going to transition back to our child's pose. So bring the hands underneath the shoulders, press yourself up. And I like to do this kind of sideways movement of the hips as I come back, keeping the arms outstretched. And then when the hips come down, just settling, dropping the head. Start with the knees together. So if they kind of come apart, try to bring the knees together. So there's almost a sense of the inner thighs touching as best you can. Keep the arms outstretched at least for another couple of breaths, so we get this spinal traction, long spine. And then it's up to you. You could keep the hands outstretched. You could come back to classic balasana, like we did at the start. This actually feels, in fact, I invite it. This actually feels really nice. To bring the hands back to the feet with the palms up and the shoulders dropping. It's like the spine really gets stretched then, because gravity is pulling the shoulders down in one direction, one end, and the hips down in the other end. So there's this like lovely stretching of the spine with gravity. So we're just going to explore a few different variations in child's pose. So just a couple more breaths in classic child's pose here. Really breathing space into the lower back with each inhale. And then we're going to change it up. So just bring them forward, press yourself up just enough so that we can change the leg position to widening child's pose. So we've got big toes touching, knees wide, and just for a moment, take the hands forward, just come to the kind of normal torso. We're going to take it into a twist in a moment. So just for a moment, bring the hands forward, drop the head, breathe into the lower back, a couple more breaths. And then we're going to twist it. So lifting the head again, pressing through the left hand, feed your right hand underneath the left arm with the palm up, as far through as it will go. And we want to bring the right side of the head to the floor. If it doesn't meet the floor, take it onto a block. Put a block under the right side of the head. Your left hand can stay outstretched. This can be quite a nice stretch around that left shoulder, but you can also take the left hand around the back, reaching for the right thigh. So different stretches. If you take the shoulder back, you're going to be more working with the pectoral muscle, activating the back muscles. If you stretch it out in front of you, you're going to get much more of a stretch around that kind of lateral, the lats on the outer left side of the upper back. So just feel what feels like the most delicious stretch for you here. If you're taking your hands out in front, I like to come up on the fingertips to activate that arm a little bit and get a deeper stretch. But the right arm is passive. One more breath. And then we're going to come to the other side. So unwrap the left arm or come back onto the flat of the hand if you're on the fingertips. Press through that left hand. Just stay low enough to swap sides. So right hand's outstretched in front of you. Speed the left hand underneath, palm up. And do whatever you did with the right hand that you did on the other side. So either keeping it forward up on the fingertips or wrapping it around. Just getting on the front of the chest. Stretch. And whichever you've chosen, just take some nice, slow, deep breath. And then bringing that right hand back down, coming back through. Just walk the hands in, bring the knees together. So we're going to do one more variation of child's pose, but we'll just break it up. Just need to check the time. Yeah, we're good. With a little bit of back strengthening work again, and upper body strength as well, actually. We're going to do the dolphin, and we're going to do it at least a couple of times, and I invite you to try the leg lifts on the second time, because this is really another way to help unstick the lower back. So just we'll come into it in a kind of guided way. We don't do this super often, so you might have forgotten. So it's basically downward dog on the elbows. So we want to have the elbows underneath the shoulders. Just a little tip here, because we're going to do it without the hands interlaced. So your elbows underneath the shoulders and your hands are outstretched, fingers outstretched. But if our upper back's tight, what happens is the elbows go wide and the hands come together. So if you know that's you, put a block between your hands and have the corners of the block in the kind of corners between the first finger and thumb. And that's going to stop the hand moving towards each other. Okay, so this is your optional assistance. And then we tuck the toes, we lift the hips, just like we would in downward dog, but elbows are on the floor. And we walk the feet towards the elbows. As we do this, check the elbows don't travel in front, the shoulders don't travel in front of the elbows. Keep the elbows underneath, or the shoulders above the elbows. Now, really, this is working the lower back as well as stretching it, but really support the lower back by drawing in the front body. So feel that lower belly below the navel, lifting up to meet the spine. Feel the pelvic floor, the base of your container, also supporting you here. So drawing up. So we've got this kind of feeling of switched on power in our pelvic area, which is really supporting the back here. Okay, keep pressing down through the elbows and the hands and the wrists. One more breath if you can. And then lower the knees down. Just take a moment, maybe just a little half child's pose, like I'm showing here, where we're not all the way, head isn't on the floor, but the hips are bound on the heels. Okay, so we're going to do another one. You're welcome to just repeat that, but my invitation, which I'm going to just very quickly show you, is to come back up, and then it's just raising one leg for a couple of breaths, 2 or 3 breaths, lowering, and then the other leg. This is where we start to kind of open the fascia in the lower back. Okay, so this is my invitation. When you're ready, once you set up, tuck the toes, find normal dolphin first. Just check your shoulders are above the elbows. It's like we're pushing our chest back towards the thighs. It's a strong hamstring opener. Establish the pose, feel your core, feel your pelvic floor, and then lift the leg. Take a couple of breaths, 2 or 3 breaths. Doesn't matter how high it gets. Exhale to lower. Keep the core switched on. You want to feel this hollowing out feeling in the lower belly. Lift the other leg. It's intense, I know. A couple of breaths, don't hold the breath. Exhale, lower, maybe a breath, one more breath in dolphin. Both feet on the floor. And then knees down. And just for a moment, you might want to come back to that balasana with the hands back and the shoulders flopping, because that is strong work in the upper body, in the shoulders and the upper back. And classic balasana just really allows you to relax the shoulders, relax the upper back. So just revisiting, this is our kind of motif really today, the child's pose, because it's so good for the lower back in a stretching way. And then we're just going to do our final version of child's pose. So again, just take the hands forward, press through enough so that you can once again find that wide knee child's pose, big toes touch, knees wide. And this time we walk the hands over to the left. And this is a bit like what we were doing at the start, where we're in a forward fold and a lateral stretch. So we go as far as we can, maybe even taking the right hand on top of the left, and then we drop the head. But we want to feel, like we were doing when we were seated, that the pelvic floor is grounded. The base of the pelvis is grounded. So if you've gone so far to the left that your right buttock is lifting right off the right heel, then just come back a bit. Don't go into such a deep side stretch. And focus on pressing through the hands to stretch and descend the right hip bone down towards the heel. And then actually we'll get a bigger lateral stretch by not going as far, but by dropping the tailbone, dropping the right sit bone. You can rest your head. I'm resting my head on my right upper arm just to support it. If there's an option for supporting the head, take it. Couple more breaths, just feeling into where you're feeling this in the body and breathing into that area. You know, each variation of child's pose is going to be different. And then we'll come out. So again, stay low and just gently, remember when we're doing these forward folds and side stretches, just to be really mindful how we go in and come out. Walk the hands over to the right. Maybe left hand comes on top of right, optional. Drop the head. Maybe the head rests between the upper arms. And again, check in with your left buttock. If it's really like lifted, come back a bit, press through the hands, allow the left sit bone to kind of drop back and down. Really get that stretch on the left side. Breathing deep. And then again, to come out, just lift the head, stay low, walk back to the center. And then slowly, once you're back in the center, come all the way up. Bring the knees together. Take a big breath into the lower back. Drop the tailbone. So in this kneeling Vajrasana, I certainly have this tendency to stick my tailbone out. So we want to drop it so that we can connect to the front body. And then we're going to inhale, raise the hands up like we did at the start, interlacing the fingers up, dropping the tailbone down. And exhaling into a twist, right hand to left knee, left hand to the floor, or if your hand doesn't meet the floor, just let it dangle. It's okay. We're just doing a very gentle twist here. Remember, for back care, less is usually more. These gentle shapes done regularly really serve us for kind of long-term back care rather than the big intense shapes. And then exhale to unravel. Inhale to raise the hands, interlace the fingers, other little finger on the outside if you can work that out. Stretch the palms up as we drop the tailbone and hopefully connect to our lower front belly, drawing it back. Exhale, come into the twist the other way. Left hand to right thigh, right hand behind. Couple of breaths. And then at the end of the exhale, unravel. I really hope. Oh, it's touch and go. I wanted us to have a go at fire log. We've got time, but then it will be basically fire log shavasana, but that's okay. We've done some little back bends, so let's go for it. So fire log, we're going to bring the right shin parallel with the front of the mat and the foot flex. So it's not cross-legged, it's not back by the groin. The shin is parallel to the front of the mat. And then we attempt to swing in the left leg and stack the shins, keeping the feet flexed. But this is possibly not going to work for everybody. Various things that might happen. You might need to put a block underneath that top leg. You might not be able to get the top foot all the way in, so it's more on the calf than the thigh. And again, you can use the block. If none of that's working for you, just slightly bring the right foot back and bring the left shin in front. And if even that's too much, just normally crossing the legs. Okay, so something for everybody. We've got the left shin on top. Just settle yourself, and this might already be enough. You're probably going to feel it as an outer hip stretch, and just know that that's also good for releasing the back because everything's connected. So if it's already intense, stay up. If you do want to start to feel it in the lower back, we need to start to hinge at the hips. So we bring the hands in front of the shins, and then we just take a journey. How far forward does the body want to go? Do the hands want to go? And it's a bit like what we did at the start of crossing the legs and coming forward. We breathe into the lower back, we drop the head, we check the back rim of the pelvis is on the floor. If you're taking your hands forward but the floor feels quite far away, use a block. Sorry, I've got a block underneath my hands. So because if we take hands forward even a little bit, it's going to get into the lower back more. Just take a couple more big breaths into the lower back. You'll definitely be feeling it in the outer hips as well. And then my final invitation, if this is enough, just stay there. But for one last time, we can feel that kind of weird forward fold side stretch thing. So we start to walk the hands around to the right as far as we can go, not forcing it. If you're quite open, you might get all the way to the right, and you might even start to lower the forearms and the elbows onto the floor. Okay, this is only if you're quite open. But what you're going to find here is, like we explored at the start, well, this is what I experienced, is this big open in the left side of the quadratus lumbar and the side body, big opening for the fascia of the lower back. Couple more breaths. Remember, you could skip this and just be taking more breaths at the center or coming out before I say, no problem. Okay, so if you've gone to the right, stay low. Remember, we have the way we went in. Walk yourself back to the front, take an extra inhale, and then as you exhale, just start to walk the hands back in. Okay, fire log for a reason, it's pretty intense. So let's just swap sides. If between sides you need to just open up the knees, give your knees or legs a rub or anything, then do that. And then we're going to just go straight to the other side. So remember, the left heel isn't back by the right buttock, it's forward. So when you place the foot down, it's parallel with the front of the mat and the foot is flexed. Swing in the right leg to ideally one day stack the shins with the soles of the feet flush with the outer thighs. Might not happen for you. You might be more on the calf. You might need that block of support. You might just bring the left foot back slightly and bring the right shin in front. So this side might be totally different. But once we found our position, oh, the other thing I forgot to say, if you could also sit on a low block to help you. We feel, is it enough to stay working with the outer hips? Or can we start to come into that lower back opening by bringing the hands in front of the shins and just really feeling it? If your knees start to really complain, come back a bit, don't go so far. We don't want the tightness in the hips to overtax the knee joint, because that's what happens. So we just go to wherever the knees are complaining and we stay there, and it just means that we're working more with the outer hips than the lower back, and this is fine too because it's all connected. But if it's available, we turn it into that lower back stretch. We take the hands forward, we drop the head, we press through the hands to keep the back rim of the pelvis glued down, and we breathe in the lower back. So there's no shape we should look like in this, except what's right for our body. Okay, those who are folded forward, this is your choice to stay where you are or come out, or start that walk slowly, staying low, walking to the left now. As far to the left as is available, maybe dropping the forearms down if we're getting quite far over to the left. I love this stretch. For the lower back fascia gets into places that are hard to get to. But sometimes we have to open other parts of the body before we can access other parts. So just being content with where you are, knowing that this is what your body is wanting to open at this time. Okay, and at the end of your next exhale, if you twist it to the left, again, slowly and mindfully come out and return until you feel completely in the center again, taking an inhale there, and then when the exhale comes, coming back. Okay, brilliant. And release, and again, if you just need to stretch the legs out, then do. I'm just going to do one final time check. That was our final posture. So, maybe I would recommend that if anybody doesn't mind, we might just go over by a couple of minutes this evening. If that's a problem, just give me a shout and I'll make sure you know when it's 1:15. But I would recommend coming onto our backs, and after that kind of compression in the legs, to stretch both legs up to the air. And I like to stretch the arms out overhead as well, because we get this spinal traction feeling of downward dog on the floors, which I find very nourishing for the lower back because it's very space creating, just like downward dog. So this is my intuitive, what I want to do after fire log. And then we've been working with child's pose theme. So when we bend the knees and bring the knees into the chest, it's kind of like we're making child's pose shape on our back. So we can take the hands around the front of the shins or the back of the knees, and we can just do a little rock side to side. Now this rock side to side is super nourishing for the lower back. It's like you're massaging the lower back. So see how far over to one side you can get, how close towards the hip bone you can get without toppling all the way over, you know, where we can still have the core control. It's actually core control to bring us back to the center. So stay connected to your front body as you rock as far to each side as possible, so you can really massage all the way out to the outer hip maybe, and then back to the center. Maybe just finishing in stillness. Now this is your practice. If there's anything else you need, I'm feeling a happy baby. We're going to basically come into Shavasana just because of time, but you know, it's your practice. If you feel incomplete, I understand, because I kind of, we haven't done as many finishing postures as usual, but this is okay. There's no rules. So I'm feeling a happy baby, which is again super nourishing for the lower back. You might feel a little twist, which is also great for the lower back. You know, all these finishing twists we do, finishing postures are super nourishing. And then when you're ready, Shavasana. So maybe what can be lovely for the lower back in Shavasana is to put a bolster under the knees and just feel that. It just kind of takes that little curve out the lower back, and can be very good if you are somebody that suffers from chronic lower back pain. Can be quite helpful. Optional. Check your central alignment. And just breathe into the lower back. And then let go of any breath control, any mind, any visualization, or let go of everything. Just let yourself drop into heaviness, relaxation. Feel the floor holding your body, and feel this kind of yielding feeling, this surrendering feeling of the weight of your body to the floor support. Coming to stillness and rest. And just as always, this may feel like a short shavasana, so if you want to take it longer, please, you're very welcome to do so in your own time. But if you want to close with me, we're just over the end of the class, a couple of minutes, and then just start to deepen your breath, your movement back. And just gradually, with any stretches you need, returning to seated. Okay, so let's just close the practice together, just seal the practice in, maybe palms together at the center of the chest, this kind of symbol of gratitude to our selves, to our bodies, to our backs that support us, carry us through our days, our spine, to our yoga practice, to ourselves for taking this time to practice, and anything else that feels relevant at this moment of conscious gratitude. Such a powerful practice. And feeling a kind of smile touch the corners of your lips as you focus on that for which you are grateful. And when you feel complete, opening the eyes if they're closed. Thank you for sharing practice this evening. Hope you enjoyed. Namaste. And I'll see you soon.